I just want to say a couple of different things before I get started here tonight. Number one, I don't know how in the fuck that I literally, my office is 15 steps up a flight of stairs, yet I am still late every single day to this damn show. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I'm still trying to work it out. I bust my ass every day sitting at that seat right across from here, and I'm always late. Now, I will say this. Before I do the show, I like to take a shower. That's just my personal thing. I take about 3 showers a day. That's what I like to do. I don't like to come and be on air dirty. That's just me. It is what it is. Hi, Tehran, Azipur. How are you feeling? Bella Buttons, what's going on? Cass Cosby, Miss GGG01. How are you doing, Tasha? Bitches. Stephanie DeLuca. Let's see, Miss Tish 37. Harlem Hova, what's happening? That's Justice, what's going on? Dark Child 024. You must be black then, motherfucker. Stuart Tucker Lundy. Ultimate Black Stereotypes brought to you by reality. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know. I literally work in the same house and I can't be here on time. But that's because I like to take a shower, and also I was just making sure that tonight's interviewee was gonna be on point, on time, and everything. He's in his house, he's doing his stuff, he's waiting. Well, where else would he be but his house? He's actually waiting to get on, and we're gonna get to him. This is a guy that I have listened to the radio. Listened to on the radio for a long time. His name is Bart Scott. He's an ex-NFL player. He is an analyst at ESPN Radio. And when it comes to describing, for all of you guys that watch sports, or especially the NFL, he is extremely good at giving the perspective of an NFL football player in a way that all of us can understand. And this interview is actually going to be great for me because I really like listening to the guy. I actually do like listening to the guy. And I'm a radio guy. And when I can say that I like listening to a radio guy, you know it's some shit. Miss Sojourner, how are you feeling? You look really, really light-skinned to be named Sojourner. Like, when I think of Sojourner, I think of Sojourner Truth, and I think of somebody who's black, then a motherfucker that's one step off being a slave. But look, you're light-skinned and that's it. It works for you. So let's get into the news real quick. Poisonings related to cleaners and disinfectants surged in the U.S. last month as the global pandemic spurred a haphazard rush to disinfect everything. Calls to state and local poison control centers tied to cleaners and disinfectants rose over 20% in the first quarter, from 4,550 to whatever the fuck 20% of that is, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That is the CDC, people. Complaints include shortness of breath from inhalation and dizziness and vomiting from ingestion. You're going to make yourself sicker trying to get rid of the coronavirus than you would if you fucking caught the coronavirus. Now, with that being said, one adult woman described in her report breathing difficulties and wheezing after filling her sink with 10% bleach solution, vinegar, hot water, and baking soda to soak her produce. First of all, who in the hell, why in the fuck would you soak your corn and oranges in bleach? Who in what world would you put bleach, fucking baking soda and vinegar in a fucking pot and clean your produce? Bleach is gonna go through your stuff. You know, some of her punishment should be to eat the produce. Now just think about this. 10% bleach, Lysol, vinegar, and baking soda is not the thing. That's basically fucking chlorine. And let me just tell you something. From somebody who has sniffed pure chlorine, it will knock you the fuck out and take you within an inch of your life. I used to work for the pools in New York City, and I sniffed real chlorine. I was actually on my fucking knees. Listen, stop it, people. You don't even know what you're mixing. That shit is like some kind of potion. Listen, let's just make it simple. If you're not a drug dealer, if you're not one of the cast members of Breaking Bad or a chemist, you need to leave the mixing of the fucking shit alone. If it's Lysol, let it be Lysol. You don't need to mix Lysol with bleach because you don't know exactly what the fuck you're doing. All right. Now, if you're a drug dealer, you know how to cook crack, so you have some kind of experience to lean on. If you're a chemist, then you know what you're doing. You know O2 and X2 makes P2 or whatever the fuck that is. If you happen to be from the cast of Breaking Bad, you've been around drugs, so you can say, look, I don't know what O2 and X2 make, but I do know what fucking methamphetamine is, so I'm gonna try my best at that. But I would just say it like this, okay? When I come in the house, okay, because I'm going outside tomorrow, I only go outside once a week or once every 10 days. Here's what I do. Thank you very much, Cass Cosby. Here's what I do. I come in the house, I get all the stuff that I have to get in one shot. I come in the house, I bring it in the house, Tiana washes the stuff with gloves. I'll wash the stuff with gloves, okay? Then what we'll do, we'll put the stuff away, whatever we, boxes and stuff, even though we Lysol it up, we put it back in the little cart and I take it outside. All right? When I come in, I take all my clothes off, butt naked. I tell Tiana, go in your room because you don't want to see no dicks flying. This is the dick that made you. I don't need it. It's very weird that I even have to talk about this. But anyway, I tell her to go in the room. I come upstairs into my loft. I take all my clothes off, socks, everything is done. And then what I do from there, I put the stuff in the washing machine. I go downstairs, take a shower, and that's it. Now, she's taking the Lysol and she's washing the doors and the handles and stuff like that. After I do that, I wash my hands and all that, that's it. I don't go through no extra washing of hands, and every time I touch something, wash hands, because the bottom line is if it's here, it's here. What's up, Rico, with the cam? If it's here, it's here. I'm not going to just keep beating myself up because it's a never-ending circle that you can't stop. So you wash the produce, but you wash the box, but the box fell on the floor, and then you got to pick up the box off the floor. Oh shit, I got it on my hands. I got to go back over here and wash my hands. I hit the soap button with my hands. So shit, I fucked that up. Now I gotta get cleanser to wash the top of the soap button. Oh shit, I just put my hand on the fucking on the fucking thing that you turn the water. It's just over and over and over, man. Listen, once I'm in this house, I wash myself, I wash my hands, I do one thing with alcohol and that's it, because if you continue to wash your hands too much, you're washing the bad bacteria off your hands. And look at me, I already got ashy hands. Tiana won't help me with these ashy hands. So if I wash these ashy hands more than I have to, basically my hands are gonna look like I'm white. And I can't do that, it just doesn't work, man. It does not work for me. In New York City news, Mayor de Blasio put out a line. He put out a tip line. It was a text line. All you had to do is text your tip to this number, which is 311. And what he wanted to do, and what he actually did, was he said anybody who is not complying to the orders of, stay at home and this, and they operate in businesses, basically he was asking everybody to snitch. And what happened was, on that snitch line, what they did, people started putting dick pics. People started putting extended middle fingers. People putting pictures of him saying, don't go to the gym, and here you are going to the gym. So, here's the thing. When you ask people to snitch, you got to ask the right people to snitch. And New York City is not like that. New York City don't really dig snitching. Nobody, even the most law-abiding citizens will be like, listen, I'm not going to snitch on nobody. That's just the way New York City is built. That's how we do it, okay? One of the messages was extended middle finger. One was 3 dick pics, and they said he got so many dick pics that he didn't even know what to do with it. Maybe people think de Blasio's gay. Maybe they think, they want to, I don't know, tear his ass. I don't know what they want to do with the man. But anyway, like I said, there was a bunch of different little things that they put. And one user sent the message, we will fight this tyrannical overreach to the service, and got an automated message that said, hello, and thank you for texting NYC311. Now, one person put in there, and this is just the average thing. They put, fuck you, replied, and this guy's name is @MorganLSchmidt1. And he put in there, fuck you, with a meme of showing Adolf Hitler, and he got into some crazy shit. Basically, he was saying that Bill de Blasio was acting like a Nazi. And what people don't understand about the city of New York, I want to explain something to you, because there's not a lot of people who are from New York City watching this, but I'm actually going to explain this to you, and I'm going to walk you through. When somebody says, fuck you, it's almost like they're saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on? If you tell me kiss my ass, okay? If I'm in the car and I'm driving, somebody say, hey man, kiss my ass. Thank you, sir. You're amazing. In Jesus' name, how you feeling? And then I might turn back around and say, how about you go fuck your own ass? And what I do is I mix my curses and I mix and match my curses. So I'll tell somebody, why don't you go fuck your own balls, you fucking prick ass? Like, I mix it up and I get really creative with it. In New York City, cursing is part of our culture. So if somebody tells me fuck you, I'm almost gonna say, thank you. Go fuck yourself. And that's just the way that we are. So people, if you come to New York one day and somebody say, hey man, fuck you, just say thank you very much. I appreciate that. In Jesus' name, amen. Now if they get up on you and they're in your face telling you fuck you, that's a whole different situation. You need to pull out a taser, a knife, something sharp. I don't give a fuck if it's a piece of paper. Wrap it up, roll it up, and do something and stab that person with it, because now they're in your personal space. But at the same time, social distancing has made it okay for us to not have to be in people's personal space. Personally, I don't like when people are in my personal space. I don't dig it. I don't like it. I don't want to be close enough to you to smell your breath. If I smell your breath, then that means I'm way too close to you. If you can spit on me, that means I'm way too close to you. Okay? If you can reach out and put your hand on my chest, if I don't know you, I'm way too close to you. But what I usually do, the way that I judge it is, if I can smell your breath, if I know what you ate this morning, I'm too fucking close. That's it. How is Tiana? Tiana's fine. Tiana! People are here asking how you doing. What you want me to tell them? What? She says she's busy writing a letter. She's technically, people, I know you guys don't know my daughter Tiana, but she's a student in Penn State University, and she's down there working right now. So let's leave her alone and let her write her damn paper. I know yesterday the paper was about Django Unchained and something about racial stuff with white people. I said, listen, and then she asked me, did I watch the movie Django Chained? I don't watch anything involving slavery. Okay? I don't watch anything involving slavery because I can't deal with it. Okay? Okay? Even though I'm extremely light-skinned, I can't deal with it. Okay? But I do know that a couple of my ancestors, I'm on Instagram Live. This is why I can't keep my phone on, because people don't even look. They know that I'm on at 7 o'clock and they still call it. It's extremely disrespectful if you know that I'm on. You don't even give a damn. You just like, fuck that, I'm going to do what I got to do. I don't care. I'm going to call him if he's on live. What? So what? I pick up the phone, whatever. Ask her for water with ice. Tiana! People are asking me, can you give me a glass of water, please? Tiana! Fuck it, she's not into it today. She's not into it today. She's not into it. So what I want to do first is I'm going to shout everybody out, and then we're going to go into an interview with a guy that I really respect. I respect him. He is an ex-football player. He used to play for the Ravens and the Jets. He actually, if you're from New York, there was something that he did that was very, very, very iconic in New York City. He had this statement where he was talking to a sportscaster, and he was basically looking forward to the next game, and they personally didn't think that they could win the game, right? But when they said to Bart Scott, get ready to tell him to come on. When they said to Bart Scott, are you ready for this game? In true New York fashion, and this guy is not even from New York, he just said the most New York thing ever. Can't wait, can't wait. And I remember that. When I heard that, I immediately became a fan. He's also been in media for a while. He worked on a radio show when he was a player. He had his own radio show when he was actually playing for the Ravens, and not for the Jets, but I know for the Ravens for sure. He was on a radio station. And I'm just gonna do this so soon as I bring him on, you know enough about him. He was on a radio station here in New York called WFAN with Chris Carlin and Maggie, and the show was called CMB. And then they fired Chris, and the shit was called MB. And I loved him, but it was painful to watch MB because they got rid of the fat guy, and then there's no fat guy, and I love fat guys. I'm fat, so that was tight. Then he left. He left WFAN. I didn't want him to leave. I wish he would have stayed because I liked him with Maggie. But he went to ESPN, became an analyst, also has his own radio show, Bart and Han, and he's actually on the morning show on ESPN. It's called Get Up. I'm going to bring him in here right now. This is my guy right here. I love him. And the reason I love him is because as an NFL player, what's happening, bro?
What's up, baby? What's going on, man?
It's good. This is my man, Bart Scott. And the reason that I love him so much and I love listening to him on the radio is because he is able to take the experience of what it is to be an NFL player and give that to you in a way that you really, really understand. And and I'm a radio guy. I've been on the radio for almost 30 years. And when I can listen to a guy and I'm tuned into what he says, there's no bigger respect than that. And I respect your gangster when it comes to being on the radio. I respect the truth and the way that you deliver it. So once again, give it up for Bart Scott.
I appreciate it, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I see some of my homies from back in the hood, chiming in with me. Listen, I appreciate this opportunity. I'm new to this whole technology thing, but the one thing about this pandemic that I enjoy is that we're able to pay homage to the people that paved the way getting here. You know what I'm saying? You are a sound. You're a voice of the city. You're a voice of a movement. You know what I mean? I love the hip-hop battles going on back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Riley and Babyface. I didn't know Babyface, produced the Whispers.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, Babyface, he more like Benjamin Button. How old is this dude, man? This dude old as hell.
Babyface is about 300 years old.
He's like Benjamin Button, man. He aging backwards.
Yeah, he's about 300 years old. So I want to start with this because we have a short amount of time, and I want to get to so many things when it comes to you. First of all, let's talk about the NFL a little bit. How did you know that you were good enough to go pro?
Man, it took a while, bro. I took the less favorable path. I came out of Detroit, man. I grew up in Detroit in the 80s, man. So I grew up in Detroit during the height of the drug and gang epidemic. You know what I mean? It was tough, growing through that. I went to a school that had the highest dropout rate in the country. Mm-hmm. When I was in ninth grade, my entire block moved out of town and started setting up shop and setting up drug houses. And I was the only one that was still walking to school. So I just knew I wanted something different, so I stayed focused. But because I went to a school that really didn't have, guys that were being recruited to college, I really didn't know what the process was. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I went there, didn't pass my ACT, didn't even know I had to take the ACT. My coach signed me up for an ACT. Nobody in my family ever went to college.
Right.
So I'm kind of learning on the job, and I made a lot of mistakes. Ended up committing to Michigan State as a junior, didn't pass my test. Nick Saban took my scholarship from me, gave it to somebody else.
Tell them who Nick Saban is, because Nick Saban is very legendary in sports.
Well, Nick Saban is probably considered the GOAT when you talk about college coaches. I think he has like 5 national championships, more than anybody other than maybe Bear Bryant. Mm-hmm. He won his first one at LSU. He's a guy, they pay him $10 million a year to coach college football. To try to have a stint in the pros, didn't last in the pros, went back to college, and he's the GOAT, so to speak. He's the Bill Belichick of college football. Yes, and oddly enough, he was on staff with Bill Belichick with Cleveland, Ozzie Newsome back in the day. Mm-hmm. So his name carries a lot of weight. Yeah, so they took my scholarship away. I committed to him as a junior. So because I committed to him as a junior, all the other teams that were recruiting me stopped recruiting me. Mm-hmm. So I'm stuck out there without a scholarship. I go down to the All-Star game for Michigan, set a record for the most tackles in the game ever. It happens to be on Michigan State. They offered me a scholarship. I declined it. I ended up going to Southern Illinois with all intents and purposes on, transferring and saying I'm going to go to another big college.
Right.
Fell in love with the school, kind of felt like a big fish in a small pond. Ended up getting kicked off the team in my junior year for trying to fight my defensive coordinator.
Here we go.
Disrespect.
Here we go.
So I get kicked off the team, right? Didn't think I ever played football again. It was in my junior year, like, I'm just going to graduate with my economics degree and just get a regular job. A coach comes in, Jerry Kill. Now, a lot of people out there may or may not know who Jerry Kill is. But Jerry Kill is the coach that's most known a lot because he has a lot of seizures. He's had over 50 seizures on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Right. So he's coached since then. He's coached was the head coach of Minnesota a couple years ago. He coached for Rutgers here as the offensive coordinator. He coached at Northern Illinois. He gave me a second opportunity in life, man. So that was the first time when I had to humble myself and be able to trust somebody else that basically had my future in his hands. So it wasn't until that junior year where, the safety coach came up, Adrian White, who had played in the league, told me, you know what, you got what it takes to play in the league. And, that was the first time I ever heard somebody endorse me that way. And so it was at that point that I said, you know what, I'm going to go for broke. And Joe Douglas, well, not Joe Douglas, but the Ravens were the only team to come to my pro day. I didn't go to the combine. I was undrafted, rookie free agent.
No draft, no nothing.
No nothing. Ozzie Newsome gave me a whopping $500 signing bonus.
Wow. How much does the average person get as a signing bonus if you're in the draft?
I mean, first-round draft picks getting millions of dollars. He gave me $500, and it's crazy because at first it was $1,000.
Right.
He called me back about an hour later, like, yo.
I got $5 for you, bro. That's it. You going to take this $5 or you want to keep it moving?
Got this high five for you, man. Oddly enough, man, I remember like yesterday in Randallstown, Maryland, I had to go to a check cashing joint to cash my first check, my signing bonus, $500, $329 after taxes.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
They had plexiglass in between me and the person cashing my check, man. And when I gave her that check from the Baltimore Ravens for $500, $329 after tax, she had to hold it up, and I felt like she felt sorry for me. Everybody there cashing checks looked like they wanted to give me a little cash in the pot, but I made up for it. It's all good. And I made sure Ozzie, when I signed my second contract, gave me my $500 that he promised me.
Right. Okay. So how much money did you make during the course of your career? Because you went from $500 to what?
Yeah, I probably, in the course of my career, probably $60 million.
Okay, and is that 60? When we think of 60 million, is that 60 million flat, or what do you wind up with out of 60 million?
No. So what you, a good rule of thumb, I always tell people, for every 100,000, take 600, take $66,000. So for every million, take 660. For every 10 million, take 6 million, 6.6.
Right.
That's usually a good rule of thumb, unless you're fortunate enough to get paid down in Tampa or one of these other places with no state taxes. You know what I mean? You're able to take a little bit more, man. But I did well for myself, and I was able to take care of my family, my moms and stuff like that. And it was like coming from nothing to something. It was more about the respect and making a name for yourself. As I'm coming down, backing up Ray Lewis, running down on kickoff, hitting my head against the goalpost, I was like a cone. You know what I mean? Nobody expected me to make it. And I wear number 57. Anybody that knows anything about the number 57, I'll dare anybody to name 5 people that they can ever think of that wore 57. Now, I know here because Mo Lewis, people always know 57. But outside of that, 57 is the number they give to people that they know they're going to cut. 57, 42, 45.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I mean, you get number 34, number 38, and this ain't hanging in your locker, and you're a defensive player. They got that seat warm. They got that Greyhound hat with that Greyhound ticket almost already made out, man. So
what are some of the things that can get a person in trouble in the NFL? What kind of things derail careers?
Well, confidence, right? Overconfidence. What happens is you get there because we're all narcissistic. You know what I mean? We all get there because everything's always worked out for us. We always believe in ourselves, right? We think that if it's going to be one, we're going to be the one. But when you step in that damn locker room, and there's 90 people in there, and it's only 53 real spots, it gets real. But usually what I find what happens is the people that never face any adversity, those are the people that can't deal with the adversity that's about to happen. Because at the end of the day, you're coming in, and it's 35% turnover every year. So what you're essentially telling somebody that was there last year is that you running that spot, get to the back of the bus, right? So you tell them to get that, but you coming in, you're a rookie. I was 20 years old. You 21 years old. You telling this grown-ass man they got a mortgage,
everything.
They got kids,
right?
They got responsibilities that you about to run this spot, and he ain't gonna let it go so easy. You got to take that.
You got to take
it. Because a lot of guys, ain't gonna reach out there and tell you what you got to do. So what happens is you get a lot of guys that come from these prestigious universities, Florida State, Miami, and first thing they do is they find the teammate that's the man on their team that's from Florida and Miami. So they think they can hang out, ball out, go party instead of getting in them books. And, the thing about it is your university can't save your ass when you're going against me. That was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And they assume, they make assumptions, right? They make assumptions because they're from a big school that they're going to be able to hold it down. And that's not really the case, because here I am coming in hungry, ain't never had nothing. You give me a taste of something, I can do more with less than you can, because you went to this university that stayed that played in front of the big colleges. They had the big stadium. Look, man, I once flew to a game on a UPS plane, bro. And
how the fuck do you fly on a plane?
Man, listen. Yo, UPS plane with no windows.
Well, it was your team?
My team. That's the charter we had to take. I fell asleep, nodded off. We landed. I thought we was crying. I thought we was crashing, man. I thought I was about to die, bro.
You got on it, so like
yo,
you guys didn't have it. You didn't have the money?
Yo, D1 double. We call Coach Billick used to call us D1 double slapdicks. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's just like the lowest. That's like
the
lowest.
It's damn near NIA. It's damn near NIA, man. It's D2. I mean, it's D1 double A, but it was a poor D1 double A. Now since then they bossed up. But yeah, man, like, so I had it tough, man. So when I got into the locker room with them, it's like, man, come on, man. It ain't nothing you can do to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing.
I have a question for you.
No doubt.
Do you feel sorry for the kids in this year's draft? Do you feel sorry for them?
I do a little bit, because I feel like they were robbed of the process, right? You know what I mean? They were robbed of the process. They were robbed of the process of being able to go to draft days and be able to up their stock. You know, because not everybody performed well at the combine, right? People went to the combine and they may not have ran the time that they wanted, but they know they had time to go back and do their pro days.
Right.
You know, but the kids that's going to suffer the most are the kids from the black universities that don't get invited to the combine, or the smaller schools that you really rely on those pro days to be able to have some of these scouts come out and be able to test them. So they got no numbers on the books. So all they got is their film. So a lot of these guys are going to go undrafted, or they're not even going to get an opportunity. And because the XFL just folded up shop, they can't even go to the XFL to be able to jump on that, because it don't exist anymore. So they can't even go there and hope to prove themselves and show that they can ball and get picked up.
Now, because there's not a thorough and extensive vetting process because of the coronavirus, do you feel there's going to be more, quote unquote, what you guys call in the business busts?
Well, I don't know about bust, but it's not going to be as many trades, right? I mean, I think, you know, at this point, you kind of know who you're going to pick. But what happens is, like, people always concentrate, like, on the first round draft picks, right? Anybody can make a first round draft pick. Hell, anybody that watches TV, that listens to the experts, can make the first round draft picks. But you make your hay now with the people that you get for the most money, that's at market value or higher. You get your money by getting these discounts. Right, so these discounts are who? Dak Prescott used to be a discount. He was a fourth round draft pick, right?
Right.
You know, you think about Terrell Owens, that's a discount. You know, all these guys that come from these small schools that turn out that you don't have to pay big money up front are the ones like Antonio Brown was a discount, fourth round draft pick.
Well, right? Antonio Brown was a fourth round because he until he acted like a damn fool, he was balling in the NFL. I
mean, you look at Alvin Kamara, right? Alvin Kamara. Like, so you focus on all these guys on the first round, but these are the guys that you're paying top end money. Like, when you come in as a first round draft pick, you never gonna not make money, right? So what happens is you so expensive that you outprice yourself. So now your value. Look at Clowney. Clowney came in as a first round draft pick, I think first or second overall. He tried to come in as a first round draft pick, get this money, but now he's trying to get more money. And now he's outpriced himself. So now he's thinking he's going to get $20 million a year. Now he's going to come back down to maybe 15, 16. And after the draft, he got to work for his money. But because he came in at a high price, there's no ramping up. So they assume that sometimes that you want the most money. So they don't even pay attention to you because they know they can't afford you. I mean, because it's a cap sport.
Okay. Just in case you tuned in, we're talking to Bart Scott. This is an amazing conversation because I'm a big NFL guy. So let's get right into the NFL. Yeah. Knowing what you know as an athlete, do you think that the NFL comes back in September or not?
I mean, you hear the term "too big to fail." I think they may be able to come back. It's going to be without fans, and that's going to affect the bottom line, right? Because what happened is, you know, most organizations, most leagues make their money from their TV revenue, but they still make money as well from their concessions and fans and stuff like that. So I don't know how much money these teams are going to want to spend, because they're not going to be getting the revenue back in. You see what happened with the Mets, right? The Mets were, Cohen tried to buy the Mets for $2.6 billion a couple months ago.
Right.
The Mets is valued right now at $1.6 billion. They dropped a billion. They lost $1 billion, right? They got no revenue. All these leagues, whether it's Adam Silver, they went from making money to zero, not just to struggling, to zero.
To nothing.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they try and set it up. Now, you can talk about social distancing in an 80,000 seat arena, but how do you herd them in? How do you get them in at a responsible time? So I feel like until we get a vaccine, we're going to have to play without fans. What's that product going to look like? You know, we know people will tune in because people will love sports, and we know the players will be professionals, but we don't know, like, how the advertisement money is going to be, how they're going to be able to make money on that way. So how's that going to affect guys as far as the second wave of free agency? See, people always concentrate on the first wave. The second wave is after the draft, where people with bad contracts, people that pass their physicals, they cut and get rid of. So yeah, it's the second wave, because what happens is whatever I get in the draft, I don't need an expensive piece.
Right. So I get rid of him.
Right. So I get rid of him. So now it becomes all these good players that can play in this league, but their cap number too high, and then they get picked up by other teams. How does that affect that spending? Because that spending is probably about 15% of your cap. That's why you see guys get signed late in the year, right? I mean, just to look at here, Matt Khalil got signed when? For $8 million. Yeah, for $8 million.
Right.
Like damn near during after OTAs and training camp.
Okay, so here's another good question. In your mind, should salaries be cut? And if not, why so? Because I look at it this way. How can a man stand up and get 38 million, but you got 38 million people in America out of a job?
Yeah, I mean, listen, one thing I learned early on, and my parents never tried to lie to me, life ain't fair. You have to understand that the people that can do things that are harder for other people to do are going to always make their money, right? So this is your opportunity. All the people out there listening to us, all the people that listen to you on a regular, it's about making yourself special. What's special about you, right? Because who's more important, the garbage man or the doctor, right? If the garbage man don't pick up the trash, then pandemic and disease spreads and everybody gets sick. But it's not the fact that he's not important. It's the fact that it's easy to become a garbage man where you got to go. You paying for our labor. You're paying for our skill set. You're paying for the ability to be the top 1% of the 1%. So whether it's this, whether it's music,
whether it's doctor,
it don't matter. Right. The top specialists ain't hurting today. As soon as they open up non-essential surgeries, that dude gonna be right back in business. So what you got to ask yourself is, why aren't you putting yourself in that position? This is an opportunity for a lot of us to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm coming out better than I came into this, right?
Well, I always tell people, if you don't come out of this with a skill, if you don't come out of this better read, if you don't come out of this with a plan to do something, then you basically lost the entire game. For me, another question I have is, if a player was going to retire this year, let's say somebody was going to retire, right? Now, is this break actually good for them? Because maybe with all this rest, they might have an extra year or two in the tank. Is that a blessing or is that a curse? Because somebody can turn around and say, well, you're 39 anyway. We're just going to get rid of you.
Well, you know what? You turn old early in this league. And what people don't realize is you actually play 2 seasons within a calendar year, right? Mahomes just played in February. He'll be playing again in September.
Right.
So what happens is people don't realize you can go from being like young and okay in that playoff run to being old and a step slow. Because what happens is the scar tissue you can't recover. As you get older, it's not your fact and your ability to play at a high level. It's your ability to play at a consistent level and recover, right? Because you can't recover because the scar tissue, you just wear down. And you see guys like Drew Brees where he don't have to zip on the ball when it's playoff time, things of that sort. So like for the older guys, it's an opportunity for them to get a little bit more rest if they had to get cleanup surgeries, to allow those to heal, not to feel like they got to get pressed early, so they can come in. But the bad part is if you're an older guy that signed with a new team, you don't know the system. So now we're all trying to adjust and be able to communicate and be able to learn. So all these guys on this Zoom trying to figure out everybody's not a visual learner. Some people got to physically do it. So how football practice go is first you get the playbook, you go in, you have a meeting, the coach goes over what they're going to go over, you go out, you go through a walkthrough, you do it at a slow pace, then you go back in, you come out and you do it full speed.
Right.
But it's the exact same plays, it's the exact same script if you pay attention to it. Some guys are so dumb, they don't even realize that the plays that they walk through, you're going to go against the offense, it's going to be the same shit. So if that was the case, you can just cheat. You know what I'm saying? But some people can't learn that way. You know, you got guys that are dyslexic in the league. You got guys with learning disabilities in the league. You got guys that have to physically get the physical reps. And then the older guys, because they've done it so long, some of them can just see it and visualize what it's going to be because you've been in different type of systems. The people that's going to struggle are the young guys who are going to get thrown in, and the people with new coaches. Because now you got to learn a new language. Like, you know, defenses everywhere is West Coast, East Coast, 4-3, 3-4. Depending on who taught it, they have a different language, different coding systems, different hand signals.
Different everything.
Yeah.
So the question is the quality of play going to go down because of this?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. That's a good question. That's absolutely what you can expect. And also, without the motivation and the adrenaline rush where them endorphins get to pumping when you're stepping out and you know it's 80,000 people waiting for you to play. You know what I mean? This was everything that all sports are going to have to deal with. You know, you'll be able to figure it out once you see that, hey, cats are clowning me on ESPN because I got ran over, but you ain't gonna know that until you watch it on ESPN or you watch the highlights. And
because
there,
you're not trained, you're not ready. You're not ready.
It's gonna feel like a scrimmage.
Okay, so
you know what I mean?
Another question is, I watch teams that lose start to what they call quit. You know. How is it that you can quit, number one? And number two, do people start making decisions when you go on a losing streak like, I'm going to fake being hurt because I don't need to, I need to make a business decision about my body? How does that go?
So, I mean, organizations do that. We call it, this is how people tank a little bit, but it's also, it depends on the player, right? Because if a player knows he's getting cut, he had a high salary cap number, he might try, you know what I'm saying, pack the U-Haul earlier because he know he gonna be cut, so he don't want to risk himself getting hurt. So he like, yo, let me get the free agency healthy. Let me fake an injury, or let me figure a way out. And really that's where when you find out who you working with and who you trusted, who you in that bunker with, because you can see when guys are quitting. You know what I mean? But to answer your question as far as guys quitting in the game, like this is a man's game, and every once in a while, you know, when you ain't got nothing for that dude across from you, and he wearing your ass out.
Have you ever been there?
No, I'm too dumb. See, I've always been willing to die for what I believe in. You know what I'm saying? I've been willing to hurt myself to hurt other people. That's the only reason. That's the only way you come up, right? It's kind of like Rocky Balboa, right? How Rocky came up and he was willing to take all those hits, but then when he got that money, right, he wasn't willing to take that same risk because now for the first time he had something to lose. Right. See, when you come in, you ain't got shit. You ain't got nothing to lose. So you ain't got no family. You ain't got no wife. You ain't got no kids. You ain't got none of that. You ain't got nobody that's dependent on you because nobody expects you to be there. So you go for broke. It's kind of like when Layman Brewster. I don't know if anybody. I'm a huge boxing fan. I don't remember when Layman Brewster fought Klitschko, and Klitschko beat the shit out of his ass, and he unloaded and he punched himself out. You know what I'm saying? His hands got tired before Layman Brewster's face got tired, right? Oh. And Layman Brewster were able to win and knock Klitschko out and won his belt. And then when he fought in a rematch, he said he just wasn't willing to take himself to that place because he didn't want to lose what he had got. Right? So, like, guys make those decisions, especially in a physical sport, man. In a physical sport, man, dudes will make that decision like, yo, this dude tearing my ass up, bro. We'll win next week.
Okay, so my question to you is, you got $60 million. Why the fuck are you beating yourself up? Why are you doing that? You know, why you, what is in your mind? It's like, you know, something I still don't care. I got $60 million, but so what? Listen, I can get paralyzed out here. Anything can happen. Like I can get hit the wrong way. Surgery. What made you say, what made you put it on the line regardless of all the money and all the stuff and everything that you had?
Because I never played for the money. I played for the respect. Because I had no respect coming in. I can remember when I was, you know, young and I was always a hothead talking shit, you know what I mean, getting in fights. My nickname was the Mad Backer, so I was always fighting, right? And I can remember the most disrespectful shit that somebody's ever done to me is I was talking shit, getting into an argument, walking off punt team, and then so our offense coming on the field, and their defense coming on the field. Well, we're playing Tampa Bay, and I'm talking shit like, what up? Dude, fuck y'all, all that type of shit. Motherfucking Warren Sapp grabbed my shoulder and turned me around and looked at the back of my nameplate like, who the fuck are you? Oh, you want to talk about a motherfucker going ape shit? Oh, when I talk about night motherfuckers, I start knocking motherfuckers. Anything that was out there, I was clipping and knocking their ass out.
What did Sapp say?
Oh, I was going right to the sideline, bitch. You know who I am now, motherfucker? Like, and I started knocking motherfucker out so bad, and he just stopped looking at me. Like, you hear me, motherfucker? You hear me? And since then, I got my respect. But I was a rookie that year. You know what I'm saying? But just because I'm a rookie, listen. The thing is, you can be the truth before anybody else recognizes that you're the truth. The truth is the fucking truth. So I made sure.
No matter what.
Yeah, I made sure. Listen, man, around here, man, it's crazy. I mean, I got jerseys down here from Steve McNair. People don't realize I played with Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying?
How was it playing with Deion Sanders? Because that was on the Ravens, right?
Yeah, it was on the Ravens.
In case you don't know who we're talking to to Bart Scott, ESPN. I can go on and on and on. You played with Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is one of the best defensive players ever. Prime time. He's the guy. If you ever see people strutting into the end zone, that's him. The GOAT, one of the GOATs. How was it playing with him? What kind of person was he?
You know what? It's two different Deons, right? You got prime time, you got Deon. See, you guys get prime time, right? So you get prime time. Prime time is the guy that's the character that's selling you a product, that's selling you a lifestyle, right? It's the must be the money Deon, MC Hammer Deon, the performer. Right. His teammates get Deon. And Deon's a guy that has tremendous humility because when he came to the Ravens, he had been retired and they talked him back to coming back at 37. Mm-hmm. So he came back, and at that point he was still Deon, but he wasn't prime time. He still could play at a high level, but he wasn't a dominant force, and he wasn't a starter.
Couldn't turn it on right away.
Right. But it's kind of like Jordan with the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? Right. Jordan averaged 20 with the Wizards, but he wasn't MJ. He was Jordan. Right. You know what I'm saying? But Deon is the person that will, take the shirt off his back for you. And the biggest example I can remember, man, is we had a teammate, and he wasn't no good teammate. He wasn't a great player, nothing like that. He was like one of the bottom of the roster guys, and he was from Dallas, and he was, Deon's house was in Dallas. He traveling, riding through town. And he told Deon he wanted to stop through and just hang out. And Deon was like, go ahead, man, it's all good. And usually, like, great players don't hang with the bottom of the roster dude, the dude that's been in the league for a year. But Deon opened up his home for anybody. So, like, he calls Deon like, yo, man, I can't find your house. All I see is this damn hotel in front of me, man, and I can't find it. Like, man, it's my damn house, man. Come on in, man. Welcome with him for a couple days. Deon showed him the hospitality, and that's what people get. What people out in the public get from Deon is he won't sign autographs, right? So they like, oh, this dude's an asshole. Everything. Yeah, this dude's an asshole. But they don't know what he does and how he treats his teammates. And they think they see all the flash. They think he's a bad teammate. I can imagine that's the same thing I get when people talk about Odell Beckham. From outside, we think he'll self-promote an asshole. But all the people that know him and that play with him think he's the best teammate ever. Same thing with T.O. You know what I mean? Perception versus reality. What you have to realize is sometimes perception isn't reality, but if you're the player, you have to understand how you perceive, right? Mm-hmm. Because we're all selling something. Because at the end of the day, when your career over, it ain't, and you can't sell yourself physically. You got to sell your brand. Right. So your brand is what do people think about when they hear you, and and with what they think about, are anybody willing to pay for that? You know what I'm saying? That's why I was able, even though I wasn't a Hall of Famer, I was from the Hall of Very Good. I'm not a Hall of Famer. I was able to jump on CBS right off the spot. Now Tony Romo came and took my shine, hater. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no. Now the man's good. The man is good. He's good at what he does. I want to ask you before I get out of here. One of your passions is EduCore, and I follow, and it's about teaching people financial literacy. Mm-hmm. We as minorities, I can only speak for myself, and I'm going to say this because I have been in this place before, and I'm literally climbing out. Because we don't know what to do with money. When we get a lot of money, we don't know what to do. We buy things that are liabilities and not assets. We don't plan for the future. We put money into looking good, but not being good, not creating streams of income, a bunch of different things. What are you trying to do with EduCore, and how are you teaching it? How are you teaching these kids, and are they listening?
Well, you know what? We actually Educore is just kind of a child of like we started off at another company, Morgan Stanley, and we built a reputation up going around the country, going to colleges, going to professional organizations, and being able to kind of tell our message. Antoine Walker, who famously made like $180 million and filed for bankruptcy 2 years after being out of the league, he goes on and he's been gracious enough to tell his story and about how.
Just stop for a second. How do you blow $180 million? You got to walk me through that. Before we get off this, you have to walk me through how you can blow $180 million. 180.
Well, I got to make a correction. It was 120. My bad. But I didn't count it. I didn't count a shoe deal. Well, listen, we have a whole presentation about where his money went. Antoine had like over 100 properties across the west side of Chicago. But he trusted his money to a dude that he met at a Spades game. And so like when in 2008, when the bottom of the real estate ran out, he didn't have any liquid assets. So he thought that, and the thing about most athletes, we never see the end coming, right? Because everything's always worked out for us. So we don't prepare for the end because we think the end is when we say it's the end. But no athlete, very few athletes walk away from the game. They usually get retired by their organizations or they get retired by a player or a hit, right? So he didn't prepare for the end. So he had won the championship with the Heat, and he had this thing in his mind where he was going to party every day for 50 days straight and jumping from each city on a private plane with his crew. And he did all that type of stuff, and it was like those type of things and that recklessness that led to his demise. And what happens is he never got that second contract when he had to file for bankruptcy. He decided just to pay it all off. And if he would have not paid it off and went a different route, just imagine having 100 properties on the west side of Chicago, what that value is now, if he would have been able to make some smart decisions. But, it's things like that, us understanding, not really understanding, because a lot of us are the first people in our family that are successful. So we don't understand about how to build up our team and how to have checks and balances. And, Antoine since then is still going out giving his story. But, we've been fortunate enough with Educore. I've been there, and one of the goals of mine was to get to guys early, right? Because when a guy gets to sign that check, sign the dotted line, get that check, you lose him. He made it now. So right. What we started doing is we started going to the colleges early and being able to present. I can remember presenting to Baker Mayfield. I can remember Lamar Jackson in my program. I can remember Dak Prescott in my program. We've had LeBron in our program. We've had Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? We've had Anthony Davis because we have a partnership with the NBA. We've had Anthony Davis in there when he was with the Pelicans. We've had Greek Freak before he got paid. You know what I mean? So what happens is you get into them early, so when they get that money, they have a plan for it. Because if you don't have a plan for your money, somebody else will.
Okay, so right? My question is, before we get out of here, because there's so much, an hour is not going to be enough. You got to come back and be on my podcast.
No doubt.
How does somebody determine and recognize who's the right person and who's the wrong person to deal with their money?
I mean, it's tough. You really got to do your due diligence, right? You have to be able to have a list of questions that you trust, find somebody that you trust, but also you got to have people to hold other people accountable. So you never go with a financial group that has everything in-house. You want people to work from different organizations so you have checks and balances. It's his ass if he don't tell you this, but it's his ass because he need to know what he's doing. If he's not doing his job, if your CPA, your tax guy ain't doing his job, then you need to talk to your financial advisor to figure out what's going on. You got your short-term, your long-term goals. That's what it's all about. It's being able to have a plan. No different than, when you go into practice. You got a plan about practice. You got a plan. You go in there, you get the playbook, you listen to your coach, you figure out how you're going to do. You figure out what your job is, what your role is in it, and you figure out how to maximize it. It's about getting your team together, having layers of protection, understanding your intermediate goals, your short-term goals, and having self-discipline, understanding how to budget, save your money, and how you want to utilize it, right? Some people are more aggressive than others. Some people, want to spend more money. Some people want to sit on it. You got to know and be able to come to grips with what you're comfortable with. And when you're done with the game, what do you want to do, and how long can you survive living the lifestyle that you want to live? And what do you have to save and put away so that you can live the lifestyle that you want?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I hear you all the time. You talking about Balenciaga. You talking about, Lamborghinis. You ain't hurting right now. Obviously, you did the right thing.
Balling on the budget, baby.
Exactly. Can anyone join? Can anyone follow you and join up and learn, or does this have to be only athletes?
It's not only athletes. I mean, we used to sponsor Beasler, so we used to go out to the Black Lawyers Association. But we do come with a team. And when we were at Morgan Stanley, it was all free. But, like, now, you have to get in contact with Drew Hawkins. Follow us on Educore, Instagram, and reach out. But we really do big groups and programs. But we can set something up, man. I mean, it's not just athletes, because we have Tamari Tooney, who is from the entertainment division, who a lot of people know her from Devil's Advocate. A lot of people know her from Law and Order.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes, and she's a blunt force trauma guy. Then sometimes, we do some stuff with Kevin Lyles, and we also do some stuff with Donald Dale. Yeah. Kevin Lyles kind of lived. His parents lived across the street from me when I was in Baltimore, so I know Kevin very well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have different divisions. So financial literacy is for everybody, man. Because we know how to make the money, but we don't know how to keep it. But if you didn't grow up in that world, how do you? How would you? See, but the thing is, we have so much pride that we assume that we know, but we know that. But the people that are dealing with our money know that we don't know that we don't know, and
nobody knows.
Right, and that's why you have to get educated, right? We're specialists in different things. So you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and be able to ask the questions that, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
I agree with that 100%. Last question. What do you feel about Rob Gronkowski leaving retirement, stepping out of retirement, and going to play for the Bucs?
Listen, man, it was never about his ability to play. It was that he was injured, but also, I think this is an indictment on the Patriots and the Patriot Way, man. Patriot Way sucks. Right? Yeah, they win titles, right? They win titles, and a lot of people enjoy it. But if you ever talk to anybody that ever played there, it's a miserable being. And why
is it miserable? I would think that winning.
Oh, whoa! Have you ever seen a Bill Belichick interview? Could you imagine what it's like, the environment that it's like in there? Like, it's more than one way to skin a cat. And we saw this happen with Kawhi Leonard, right? Kawhi Leonard was like, you know what? Popovich, I'm tired of this, man. You're not about to be rating me in front of the team, talk to me like I'm a little ass kid. I'm a grown ass man, dog. So I'm gonna take my talents to Toronto, and I ain't playing for you no more. Tom Brady, I felt, just grew tired of, like, listen, you know how it is when you old, man. When you old, you don't want to hold your tongue. You don't want to be the good soldier. You like, yo, I've earned the right, and Tom Brady earned the right to be able to express himself, to not be able to show up for OTAs, to do what he wants. So he's riding off into the sunset. Right, so he's like, you know what? My legacy is cemented, and Rob Gronkowski's legacy is cemented. 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's still, Rob might be 30 years old. He might be just 30,
maybe 30.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, like, he got 3 titles. He's a Hall of Famer. He just made the All 100 team. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, why not come back with Bruce Aaron, a white boy with a Kango to the back?
Yes.
So you already know what type of time it is.
You know what time it is.
We having fun.
How many years, last question, take 30 seconds. How many years does Tom Brady play? How many you got left?
2 more. He got 2 more. He got 2 more, and he's just trying to win the title. And I think Bruce Arians probably got 2 more years of coaching. And what Bruce Arians went down to Tampa to do, and the reason why Bruce Arians didn't take the Jets job, because you got to like the fact that Sam Darnold is there, right? But I think that he wants to be able to prime Todd Bowles to take over that team and set his offense for him, because Todd Bowles is a great defensive player. So he knew he couldn't come here because Todd Bowles is the head coach, and that wouldn't work. So he went down there, brought Todd Bowles down there with him in Tampa. He's going to coach 2 more years, because remember, he walked away from Arizona for health issues. He's an older gentleman. He just tried to prep it and say, listen, Todd, let me set this up for you. Let me get this offense for you, because I know you got this defense. Let me get this offense for you, and then you can take over as head coach, and you can ride off to the sunset. Because as a head coach in this league, you get 2 shots maybe, and that's a blessing if you can get 2 shots.
And if you're black, you're getting 1. If you're black, you're getting maybe 1 shot and a half.
Exactly.
Give them your Instagram. Tell them where to find you. Tell them where to hear you on the radio, and let's ride on out of here.
Yeah, just right at the top, man. You can find me at the Real Bart Scott. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up anytime. And also, it's 98.7. The ESPN. You can find me on Get Up whenever we got this pandemic. When I can go in the studio, you'll see me on that. You'll see me around. I'll be doing a draft on on the national ESPN network, to spit some hot fire. I ain't got nothing.
There you go. Thank you very much for coming through, man. You know I love you, and I'm gonna hit you on the side. I'm gonna hit you on the DM after this is over, bro.
No doubt. Appreciate it, man.
All right, be safe. So, listen, people. I know that a lot of people don't understand sports, but this is a man who really gets it and who can really break it down. And I think that he gave us a lot of insight on how sports work, a lot of insight on what people are thinking, what people are doing, what moves are being made, how money affects everything, how money affects, business decisions, and do you get hit, and do you want to risk your body, and a whole bunch of different things. So when it comes to sports, that's a guy that I really, really trust. Tomorrow, we're going to have a therapist come in here. And Thursday, we got Missy Elliott coming in for Throwback Thursday. That's going to be big. On Friday, we're taking it to sports again. Isaiah Thomas. And if you don't know who Isaiah Thomas is, he's a Hall of Fame point guard for the Detroit Pistons. He is basketball royalty. So we're going to do sports this week. Later on, we're going to have a bunch of other musical artists. What I want you to do, if you have a chance, hop by my store, www.fatmanscoop.com. You can get this. Haters never win. Fuck coronavirus. I got on there. Quarantine and chill, and so many other t-shirts and merch like that. I will talk to you later. If you have any ideas for the show, you want to send me an email, you want to send me a fucking death threat, I don't care. Show@fatmanscoop.com. I will talk to you tomorrow. You guys be safe. Fat Man Scoop.